our video on screen addiction. Screen addiction is a term that we're seeing more and more often in the media and has been used to denote various types of screen related bad behaviors. So, what is it? It's a fairly new phenomenon that's often described as a serious problem involving the inability to control the use of various kinds of technology. In particular, the internet, smartphones, tablets, and social networking sites like Twitter and Instagram. Now that it's effortless to text and access the web and social media from almost anywhere, more of us are dependent on communicating via the devices we carry with us. So it's no surprise that health experts are seeing a rise in addictive tendencies that involve technology. Evidence suggests that if you're suffering from internet addiction disorder, your brain makeup is similar to those that suffer from a chemical dependency such as drugs or alcohol. Interestingly, some studies link internet addiction disorder to physically changing the brain structure, specifically affecting the amount of gray and white matter in regions of the prefrontal brain. This area of the brain is associated with remembering details, attention, planning, and prioritizing tasks. It is suggested one of the causes of internet addiction disorder is structural changes to the prefrontal region of the brain are detrimental to your capability to prioritize tasks in your life. The variable reinforcement effect of internet addiction is another cause of this behavior. According to the VRRS theory, the reason why you might be so addicted to internet activity is because it provides multiple layers of rewards. That is, your constant surfacing of the internet leads to multiple rewards that are unpredictable. This reward experience is intensified when combined with mood-enhancing contexts. What causes screen addiction in humans? Some causes that can play a role are underlying mental health conditions such as anxiety and depression, genetics, and environmental factors. Signs to know you're addicted are the screen time interferes with daily activities. If it interferes with bedtime, mealtime, everyday communications, and schoolwork. For instance, if you're playing a video game or watching TV late into the night, causing you to doze off at work, that's a problem and a sign of screen overuse. Another sign could be you're spending more time with your virtual friends than real people. Catching up on Facebook or Instagram can make you feel socially connected to others, but it cannot replace the emotional and physical benefits from being with people face to face. A recent poll on mobile device usage from Common Sense Media found that 50% of teens feel they are addicted to their mobile devices. At 59%, even more parents thought their teens were addicted, CNN says. According to a study by Devon Gray, 2 out of 3 people are addicted to their phones. Another study states that undergrads spend more than 8 hours a day on their phones. Internet addiction can have many harmful effects on a person, both physically and emotionally. Body aches, carpal tunnel syndrome, insomnia, vision problems, and weight gain and weight loss are just some of the physical problems one may suffer as a result from internet addiction. Emotional effects may include depression, dishonesty, anxiety, social isolation, aggression, and mood swings.
So now that we've looked at what screen addiction is and how harmful it can be, let's look at some possible steps we can take to tackle this issue. So there are some technological approaches to solving screen addiction and some non-technological approaches. Some technological approaches would include like turning off notifications for apps that you don't use for productivity, applications like Snapchat and Instagram. You can just use it when you're free, and for the most part you only use it to text friends. Whereas things like iMessage, I know I used to text my mom, my dad, my group mates for projects. So something like that is something. iMessage is something I wouldn't want to mute, but things like Snapchat, Instagram, I could mute to boost my productivity. Something else could be setting a time limit on your phone or setting a time limit for specific apps on your phone. I know for iPhone you can accomplish this using screen time, whereas so like something like you can set a time limit for your whole phone, whereas you can use it only 4 hours a day, or you could also have it to where you only want to use Instagram and Snapchat for 30 minutes a day, but you can use your phone for how much ever you'd like. You could do stuff like that. Some non-technological approaches would be charging your phone outside of your bedroom. I know this would be huge for me and a lot of teenagers because the last thing I do before I go to bed is be on my phone, and sometimes I'm on my phone for like hours. And it actually turns out cell phones produce a blue light, and studies suggest that the blue light can inhibit production of sleep-inducing hormones, which makes sense. So if you don't charge your phone next to your bedroom and just keep it in the living room or something, and you have nothing to do when you go to bed, you probably just force yourself to go to sleep. Whereas if you have your phone right next to you, you're just like tempted to be on your phone. And I know this is a big thing after you wake up as well, because the first thing you do when you wake up is see who texted you. You go to social media, and it takes me like 15 minutes to get out of bed, whereas that probably wouldn't be the case if I didn't have my phone right next to my bed. Uh, Another big thing could be like talking to when you want to talk to your friends, you call them instead of texting them, because when you text them, you expect a notification back from your friend, and it's like you're always checking your phone to seeing if they responded. Whereas if you just call them when they're free, you can just get a conversation over with, and you don't there's no need to check your phone back again. And another big thing would be trying to find hobbies that don't include technology. And I know that can be really hard, especially during a time right now where we're all quarantined, but some things could be like playing cards, cooking. I know I've played a lot of during this time I've played a lot of Monopoly with my sister. That's been fun. And normally people couldn't exercise, work out, just just some activities that don't relate to technology. If people could do that more, I feel like they could be less addicted to their phones. So let's take a social media for this specific example, Instagram. Let's look at why it's addictive. So Instagram is like a social network where you can see what your friends are up to, what they're doing with their day-to-day lives, how people are making multiple posts, celebrities are making posts, and Instagram just alleviates your boredom. You're never bored. It's like you can see what everyone is up to, and you can just like keep going. And like as humans, we have the mindset of we want to know everything. We don't want to miss out on anything, and Instagram just takes advantage of this because you can follow whoever you want and see what they're up to. And at one point, you're just always on Instagram because you always want to know what's going on around the world. And another big thing Instagram uses to their advantage is numbers, which can be really harmful, especially people like fight over how many followers they have. They fight over how many likes their photo got, and it can be detrimental to some people's mental health if they don't get a lot of likes on their photo. If they don't have a lot of followers, they just try to make it like a motivation to get more followers and more likes, whereas you could be focusing on better things in your life. And I think in that particular aspect, Instagram can be very addicting and harmful. So, ideas to make Instagram less addictive. So, the first thing would be like disabling the number of likes on posts and disabling comments on posts. So, comments could create controversy, people would start debates, and it's just one less thing to look at, which makes the app less engaging, and so as a result less addictive. And you don't really need to know how many people liked your post. You're just trying to share what you're up to, and I think looking not being able to view how many people liked your post could be beneficial and like less harmful to your brain. Another thing would be like disabling how many followers you can, not being able to see how many followers you have. That's falls under the same boat. That's why you're not competing. Ooh, I have more followers than you, or the same thing, vice versa. It doesn't really matter as long as you're just following your friends. And another big thing is Instagram right now, they have a feed designed to where you can just scroll forever. And instead of doing that, if you have a feed where it only shows the posts that have been made the past 2 days and the feed stops at a bit, as you can see in this presentation, you just wouldn't be able to keep scrolling forever and ever, whereas Instagram is designed for the app for you to want to be on there forever so you can just keep scrolling and you wouldn't even notice how much time you're passing. They want they want you to stay on their app, whereas sorry, uh, if you have something like this, it could make it, you know, they're like, all right, I'm done viewing what I need to go now, and now I can just exit the app and move on with my personal life. And yeah, those are some steps to making Instagram less addictive. And that's about it for our presentation. Thank you for listening.